Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Open Book. I am Billy Price. I am the co-founder of Billy Footwear, and I love Open Book. For those of you that are not familiar with Open Book, it's a great opportunity for us as a brand to get connected with so many people. The word Open Book is kind of a double meaning. One is we want to be super transparent. We want to be an open book, but also the functionality of our shoes. It opens up, it unzips, it opens up like a book. You step in. So there's the correlation. But through these conversations and through these open book presentations, we just have the opportunity to get connected with amazing folks. So joining me today, we have Stefanie. She is a board member of Pitt Hopkins Research Foundation. Stefanie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh my gosh, Billy, thank you for having me. It was an honor to connect with you, and I'm just so excited to be here and share our reason and why we're here.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for the conversation. So I think a great place to start is tell me about Pitt Hopkins. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so my daughter Sophia was diagnosed with Pitt Hopkins Syndrome a few years back. We can go into that later. I want to talk about our foundation first. So our foundation was founded in 2013. So we're called the Pitt Hopkins Research Foundation. And it was founded by a group of incredible, strong, determined, go-getter moms of children diagnosed with Pitt Hopkins Syndrome. So it's as well as fathers. There were fathers that were on the board as well when it first started. But so these moms, they believed. And they believed in science, and they were hopeful. They were hopeful for a better future for their children. And they wanted to make our kids with Pitt Hopkins Syndrome have an easier life and not have to struggle day to day. And so these incredible women started this foundation years ago. And here we are. We've invested more than $5 million to bring therapies to individuals with Pitt Hopkins Syndrome. And when I say $5 million, that's not lightly. $5 million is families from all over the world with Pitt Hopkins Syndrome raising money. And so $5 million is a lot of money for a very small community. So when they started, their community was probably 250 individuals were diagnosed, and now we're only up to we're over 1,000 as far as we know diagnosed with Pitt Hopkins Syndrome. So if you think about that, $5 million for that amount of individuals with Pitt Hopkins Syndrome, that is a big accomplishment. But we're ready to take it to the next step, the next level, and we have 6 gene therapy programs funded right now. We have 20 plus labs studying Pitt Hopkins Syndrome. So they're trying to find treatment, and they're trying to find ways that can help our children. And I'll get into more about what Pitt Hopkins is and whatnot. So I just kind of wanted to talk about the Pitt Hopkins Research Foundation first, and then so this year, this past year, we had our very first positive clinical trial. And that was, so when these amazing mothers, they funded this foundation, they took what was impossible and made it possible. And that is something that you can't even explain what it feels like. And in 2013, I wasn't even married yet. Sophia wasn't even here. So these women were hard at work, and I had no idea. And now I am so lucky to find these ladies and stand next to them and fight the fight with them, because that's what we're doing. We're trying to find treatments for our children to make life easier. And there's two more therapies in the pipeline coming up in the next year or two, which is also so incredible. So so that's basically what our foundation is.
So first off, thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. And there's so many little things that come to mind right now. One of which is, so that audience, that group that you have now, you say it's over 1,000. Is that just within the US, or is that spanning outside the country as well?
It's worldwide.
That's incredible.
So it's what's in the, what they call the literature, what's like when you can go on and find out how many are diagnosed, you know, that's what doctors are telling us. But again, we also believe that there's so many more families out there who aren't diagnosed and and would most likely be diagnosed with Pitt Hopkins syndrome. So that's another thing, like we're trying to connect with, you know, undiagnosed families and help them, because, you know, to have a diagnosis in such a rare community, to not have one, I could not imagine, because actually having a diagnosis means we have a community. We were lucky enough to have this amazing foundation that is fighting for our kids. And now we all have these amazing connections. We're like soul sisters, and you actually don't feel alone in this.
Totally.
You don't feel alone in this fight, and you're together and you're fighting for our kids.
You know, I hear, when I hear stories like this, I can't help but kind of go back to my own journey, like being in the hospital after breaking my neck. And it was such a life transforming moment in time, but it was a matter of like, where do you go from here? Like, I mean, you're asking yourself
what are
that
you gonna
same
do
question.
about it?
And then, but it's a matter of like, okay, well then who can you lean on? Because everyone you're leaning on is maybe your own network, your own personal network, but they don't have any experience with spinal cord injury in my case. So It's a matter of like, how do you get connected to find some sort of mentor to talk to someone and have a shoulder to cry on, or just get support or whatever it is. And this was 1996. So there wasn't really, the internet was like just coming into like really the fold. So the fact that
Facebook wasn't out yet.
Like, totally. So now the fact that you guys have like a website and like just a group that people around the planet can find you, I mean, that's truly not only impressive, but it's so valuable for all those families out there to, you know, to be able to try to help find some answers.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, we end up helping each other, and then that way we end up helping doctors too, because our doctors are still learning about this, and the best way to like learn about it is from each other. And we all, so I'll tell you a little more while we're kind of rolling with our conversation. So basically Pitt Hopkins is, it's a genetic disorder on a specific chromosome, which is chromosome 18, and it's gene TCF4. And you can either have a deletion, a mutation, or there are a couple cases that are a duplication. And for my daughter specifically, she is a mutation. She is now 6 years old. She's in kindergarten. So she's 6. She's non-ambulatory at this point. She's nonverbal. But with that being said, with, you know, learning about so much and connecting with these families, we were able to find like that, you know, different therapies and different things that can help our kids. And then I'll get into Billy Footwear and how I learned about Billy Footwear. And that was through my community, and that was through families within our network. So Sophia now walks in with a game. She started her first independent steps, which is something we weren't sure would ever happen. We were told that, you know, we don't know. So she did take her first steps this year, and you know, it's a long road. It doesn't come easy, and it's a lot of therapy. It's a lot of work. She's also on 20 plus meds a day. She has major GI issues. And when I say major GI issues, like where she's crying a lot, and we're trying to navigate and figure out what we can do to help her. And so that's where the foundation comes in, right? And that's where I hang on to hope that one day, if I can take 20 if I can minus 5 meds from her med plan, like that would be life-changing for us. And I don't say that lightly, because managing 20 meds a day for your child who has major GI issues, who recently was diagnosed with epilepsy, so the seizure med, the sleep's another thing in our community that's so tough. A lot of our kids, and my daughter included, wakes up between 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, and they're up for hours at a time, just, either upset or crying or screaming and having what we call a big old party in their bed. And no one wants to be invited to that at that hour of the night. But so all of that comes to why I want to sit on this board, why I want to stand with these amazing, amazing women and fight for treatment for our children, to make life a little bit easier for our kids, for us, for everyone, and that's really, really what we all believe in. And again, like I said before, like, so many may have thought it was impossible, but it's possible, and it's happening, and it's so exciting, and it's absolutely incredible. And so I'm lucky to have this community and be talking to you today.
Well, everyone that's listening in here, how can they find you? How can they help?
Yeah, so they can find us right they can visit our website at pitthopkins.org. And I'll include it in the post below, because some people, when you say Pitt Hopkins, they're like, what did you say?
Oh.
Yeah. So it's PITT and then Hopkins.org. And you can find us on you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can just look up Pitt Hopkins, and there we are.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, and then I also kind of wanted to quickly get into Billy's shoes. And
well, that's something that always warms my heart, like learning how people get connected with us and how they find us. So I'd love to hear your story.
Yeah, so when my daughter was about 2, we got her first pair of AFOs. Between 2 and 3, we got her first pair of AFOs, because a lot of our kids, I would say probably 90% of our community, our kids wear AFOs or SMOs, some type of bracing to help support and make their gait like easier, and not struggling as much as they may without that supportive brace. But the issue from the start, when we were around that age, was finding a shoe and a size to get in with the braces. And that was where we went to our community, and we were like, okay, what do we do? What type of shoes do we wear? And for a while, like, no one was, they would talk about Billy's shoes, but they would say they don't have toddler sizes. So everyone was waiting for toddler sizes. And finally, but like, it seemed like forever, but because finding a shoe to put in your child's, to put braces on is, and that's why you created it. But so connecting with families, when the announcement came out that you were having toddler size shoes, our Facebook private pages, oh my gosh, they went crazy. Everyone's like, look. And I was like, Billy's shoes, like, what is this? And then I ordered a pair. We popped Sophia in a pair, and we haven't looked back since. And she's, it's amazing. It's so easy. It's easy to put them on. Her teachers can take them on and off. And that's another, because it's not just me that's putting braces on her and taking her shoes on and off. They're doing it at school too, depending on what's going on and all that. So, yeah.
That type of stuff just absolutely warms my heart. I mean, because you're right. Like when we first started, we launched with kids, and that's really as far as our pocketbook could stretch at that time. But then given that success, we're able to go to toddlers. And then given that success, we're able to start going into width. So I know with braces, having a wider shoe is also really important. So we went with one width, and then beyond that going to an extra wide, which is crazy because now our extra wide shoes for kids, we're actually getting feedback sometimes that it's too wide. So for someone that needs wide shoes and then they come back saying too wide, I think that's perhaps something they've never been able to say before, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, how do you even say that? Yeah. So the other thing I was gonna say when we were chatting about that was that now I lost my train of thought, of course.
Well, what I would say is, well, it's really exciting for us. I mean, with any nonprofit, it seems like, and I may be oversimplifying it, but it seems like there's really two things that are the lifeblood of any nonprofit. One, the community, and two, having a revenue stream. So being able to collaborate with you guys, and for those that are listening, we do have a collaboration going with the Pitt Hopkins Research Foundation, where they have an affiliate link on their website or somewhere connected with you guys, where if you're able to purchase the shoes through their affiliate link, you're able to get a 10% discount for one thing, but there's a commission mechanism, a donation mechanism back to Pitt Hopkins Research Foundation. So, I mean, Stefanie, I'm so happy. I use the word warms my heart quite a bit, but it does warm my heart. It warms all of our heart on this side to be able to help participate and contribute to what.
Yeah, seriously, honestly, I will be completely honest. When you wrote back to me on Instagram, I did a happy dance and I was like, yeah, so exciting because truly our kids, I remember what I was going to say. So with our kids, small feet is a thing. And so our kid, a lot of kids who are 12 are still in toddler size shoes. Mm-hmm. So to have you open up the door for toddler size shoes for our community was so amazing. So so that was another great thing. But yeah, I can't thank you enough for writing back to me, making me do a happy dance, and also just the give back piece. That is incredible because truly every dollar matters for our community. Every dollar goes towards research, and that dollar is closer to finding treatment for our kids and making their life that much easier in the long run. And it's possible. You say, warm your heart. I'm saying it's possible because it's possible. So thank you so much, Billy. I am so happy to partner with you and, see where we take this.
Oh, yeah. So now, are there any, well, first off, it's obviously our pleasure. It's our pleasure. Are there any events coming up?
There is. That's what we're kind of ramping up for. Our board is getting, finally, after 2 years, we're heading to Chicago next week to have our annual Pitt Hopkins Research Foundation conference. So we're going to be able to hug each other finally after 2 years, and where all our labs and scientists and researchers from all over, they're coming and they're going to be talking to us about all the different gene therapies and the treatments and where their labs are at with, everything they're doing. And we're going to be able to, again, another motto I use is hang on to hope. And it's so hopeful. And just having that opportunity to be with your best friends, soul sisters from around the world, essentially, is, again, you can't even explain what it's like to have that community and be able to walk the path together and lean on each other and hug each other. And you understand like no one else understands each other and what you're going through, and, ready to fight this fight. We won't stop. And truly, so we're really excited to head to Chicago. And it's not easy for all of us, that are traveling and leaving our families at home. I started prep. My husband is amazing. He is a great caregiver to Sophia, but to make his life easier, because we also have a 2-year-old, I've been prepping at home for all her 20 meds and getting it completely organized for him. So, it's more of, for me, knowing okay, I have it set up for you, so you're good. So a lot goes into our lives, and, that's why hopefully one day, and it is possible that, our kids are going to have a treatment. And so partnering with you and having that give back is awesome. And I can't thank you enough for writing back to me so I can do my happy dance.
Well, everyone out there, I mean, every dollar counts. So again, you can find Pitt Hopkins Research Foundation on the website, pitthopkins.org, and then again on social at Pitt Hopkins. So, wow, Stefanie, this is so cool. Before we sign off though, because I know you and I could talk forever.
Yeah, we could, right? We talked about this earlier.
I think we became permanent friends, like right when we first said hello.
We did. I think we got each other.
But before we sign off, I just want to give you the mic one more time. Is there anything, any final thoughts you'd like to say to the audience?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for tuning in. And again, reach out to us at pitthopkins.org or on our Facebook page. We're always willing to chat, and we're in this together. So thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Billy. I so appreciate it.
Yeah, well, our pleasure. And you're right. When we work together, work as a community, nothing is impossible. We can accomplish all things when we work together.
Exactly. I believe.
I believe. We believe. So everyone out there, this was another episode of Open Book. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll have another one real soon. So until then, Stefanie, thank you again for joining us. And then everyone else, I bid you adieu. Take care.
Bye.